Hello guys. Oh boy, I just came rushing in to make my appointment for this live. I'm Melissa Keenan, CEO and owner at Coaching with Melissa Keenan, and I have 4 kids. And so we got called by the dentist, and they said, you know, you're on the waiting list, you can get in. And so we squeezed in, and here we are today. But I'm honored to be here with you guys, and I want to talk to you about this. I really feel so strongly about this message. And I put this in a heading, but it used to take, in the 90s, there were many studies done about what does it take to change a society. And in the 90s, right, there was still already a lot of technology and a lot connecting people, but nothing like there is now. And it was shown that it took about 20 years to completely change a society from start to finish. Something changing at its core, the way that everybody views the world, the way that everybody's doing something. And now it's taking 6 months, maybe less. If you look around and you see the kind of changes that are taking place in society, it's obvious, and I think it does have a lot to do with technology, with the fact that we can communicate globally, and that's a good thing. And it can create things that we like and we want more of, and it can create things that we don't like and things that we don't want more of. I know that for me personally, the constant fear and the agenda of fear and the pushing of fear from many different angles, that is something I do not resonate with, and it just does not align with my being. And it's something I'm actually always practicing, is to stay up and out of that, because it's not the truth of who I am. It's not the truth of who any of us are. And so seeing that society is changing so quickly, then, you might be asking yourself, so what's the point? What's the point she's trying to make about what this has to do with marriage or with our relationships? Well, let's break it all the way down. And maybe just for a moment, if you don't currently see the rapid change in society the way that I do, let me just share with you the way that I see it. Hi, Bree. Thanks. Yes, say hi in the comments. I want to hear who's watching. I want to definitely, connect with those of you who are here. So say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's just break this down a little bit. I know, isn't this so fun? See, these are the things. It just makes me excited. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And so if we just break this down a little bit, the changes in society, say, for instance, that many of the systems, the structures, and the institutions that we now currently put a lot of our faith in are no longer there for us, or are no longer the rock that we have attached to them. Maybe our banks, we hear this stuff, right? There's a lot of this within the fear mongering, and we need to address it. It's not about totally detaching from reality and pretending like none of this stuff is happening. There's a truth in this, and there is a joy in this as we face the truth. So, hi Erica, nice to meet you. So say all the institutions do fail us. Our governments, our banks, our schools, our universities, our religions. What really happens in that scenario? The one thing that I know, the institution that I know I can count on, is my marriage. That is the one thing I know I have some say in how I show up in my relationship and the kind of relationship that I create. Does that land for you guys? Does that make sense? Think about it, because if you have 2 people who are in love, and then they are bringing children into this world, and those children don't have any of the answers but they're more wise than we are, but they don't know, and they need people to teach them. We will be okay as a society if we have strong marriages. Now, I caught a lot of slack earlier this week, as I apparently do, you guys. I did not wake up and decide I was going to be a pot stirrer. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go search my name in the search engine and you'll see. I don't just I'm not just sitting around thinking, what's going to make everyone really mad in Women Helping Women? I can guarantee you that is not my intention, but I made lots of people really mad with this very message. And people are really anti-marriage. There is a trend that is moving in that direction. And to you, I say, I am talking about strong, committed relationships. And if your strong, committed relationship comes with some kind of covenants that you make with each other, or some kind of other promises that are witnessed by your loved ones, or where you've included nature, you've brought in whatever, you don't want to include the government, or you don't want your relationship to be defined by a piece of paper, so be it. I totally support that, and I totally understand that. I am talking about strong, committed relationships, and I can assure you, in this work in the world, and me talking to hundreds of women on a regular basis about our relationships, strong, committed relationships are under attack, and they are not thriving. They are not something that is, prevalent in our day and age. It's just not. And so I love marriage because I think it provides a structure and a framework for that. And I'm okay with that structure and framework. And I don't subscribe to the patriarchy and et cetera, but I like the framework of marriage. It's beautiful. I like including God in that structure and framework. But can we all agree, and I want to hear in the comments, can we all agree that strong, committed relationships with some kind of binding, commitment to each other, I'm going to do whatever it takes, let's be in this thing together, that can withstand the tests of time? Does that land? Hi, Kayla. Thank you. I love my outfit too. So fun. Can we agree with this? That strong, committed relationships are the piece. Okay, now if we can all sort of go, okay, yes, we get it. Now just picture that. Maybe, just maybe, like a hurricane is blowing through our society. But I have security in knowing that I have worked on my relationship. I have made it the glue that it is intended to be. And from that space, and why am I bringing this into this group? Because we are leaders, and each of us here, I believe all 500,000 of us here in this group, we've stepped into some calling in our heart with our business, right? Because we know that we have a bigger mission. We've been born at a time, we are leaders at a time when we have the ability to impact and influence lots of people. Just like we talked about at the beginning. Why is society changing so quickly? Because people have the ability to access lots of people and create change. That's a good thing. So when we find these strong, committed, connected, intimate, wonderful relationships that we're willing to work inside of, we are more powerful. Our impact increases. Our influence increases. And why can I say that? Because here's one thing I know. Just being in a marriage or in a committed relationship that kind of sucks doesn't do anyone any good. It feels stagnant, and part of us dies inside. And I keep getting the image of zombie. So many of us, right? Do you guys see that? Have you seen that in the world? Are just walking through life like a zombie. I just want to be wake up. You don't have to be complacent in your relationships. So if we are committing and we are strong and we are feeling fulfilled in our relationships, we're on our A game. We're in our truth, and we are going to show up that way in our businesses. We're going to call in more abundance. We're going to call in more impact. We're going to magnetize more people. Does this make sense? If it's true, and don't ever take my word for stuff, go try it out for yourself. Awesome. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for piping in here. Don't take my word for it. Test it out in your own life. Go see if it's true. Also, test out this idea in your heart. Is it true that maybe within the next 5 to 7 years even, society is evolving and changing? If that's really true, then is it true that my marriage is my top priority, or my relationships my top priority? And then if that is the case, is my marriage that beautiful breeding ground for both of us to step into our power, to step in to our truth, the truth of who we're meant to be as leaders, as influencers, impacting the change, the rapid change that's happening in society? Is my marriage that space? And if not, what is the gap? I spoke with a woman earlier this week and she said, it's the emotional connection. We don't have the emotional connection that I want us to have, that I thought we would have. In the face of adversity, he shuts down. He doesn't understand me. He doesn't understand the way I express myself. He definitely doesn't understand how hard things have been. There's a gap there. And why are we feeling these gaps? I think we're feeling them now more than ever. Yeah, one reason is because we've been put in these crucibles, like you have to stay home, you have to, because of COVID, etc. But I think the other reason is because it's time. It's time for us to see those gaps, those disparities, and do something about it. Does that make sense? I held a discussion in my Facebook group. If this resonates with you, definitely come and join my Facebook group, Women Manifesting Intimacy. It's a little bit more of an intimate space to be able to celebrate and rejoice in strong, committed relationships as business owners. It's a fabulous space. But just yesterday, I held a forum discussion around this topic. And one of the things that actually one of my clients showed up and she brought up this hierarchy that we kind of all have poo-pooed as out of date, which is God, spouse, children. Like a set of, an archetype, a set of priorities. God, spouse, children. And she said, oh my gosh, if I were to just type this up as a post, I think people would massacre it. But really, it's still true. And I want you to test that out again. Check in with your intuition. You know. And in that space, I want to teach everyone here something very important as we wrap up. It's like, wait a second, but where's me in that hierarchy? And I want to just bring this full circle for you. I make these connections all the time. Like for me, it's just, it's automatic, but I'm recognizing like not everybody sees the world this way. If God is my top priority, I am my top priority. Let me bring this full circle for you. Whether you're Christian, whether you're not, whether universe is God for you, think about this. If only God is at the top, then what I'm saying is some being defined by other people is at the top of my priority list. But if I bring me and God right here at the top of my priority list, what I'm saying is I've gotten to know God from the inside out. I listen to my feelings. I listen to my desires. I listen to the still small voice. I listen to those promptings, the way that spirit moves through me. I've gotten to know God, and that's how I put God first. Then God and me are at the top. That's it. God and me are at the top, and it is one. Is that landing for you guys? I'd love to hear in the comments. God and me are one. Is that right? If I put God at the priority, I'm putting me at the priority. If I put me at the priority, I'm putting God at the priority. Our true self. Surely there's our selfish self. We know the difference. And then spouse. And then even children and all the other things. And I know, and again, don't take my word for it. Try it out in your own life. When I have my priorities straight like that, my family flows wonderfully. My kids get along better. Our home is more peaceful and organized. My kids want to know that their parents have a strong foundation, whether they know it or not. They might demand and say they want to be first, but they know where that priority lies. And they know that I'm a strong individual and I'm out radiating in the world. Great. Thank you guys for watching today. And I just want to, I am an intimacy coach. I help women and couples. I focus primarily with women first because we have these open hearts and we have these keen eyes to see that gap. And we have these passionate hearts to make a difference. So if that's you and you're feeling like, you know what, actually, I do want to take my marriage to the next level. I do want to step deeper into intimacy, emotional connection, sensuality with my partner, that deep soul union, so that we can both be the power partnership we were made to be, then I want to invite you to book a call with me. And I'll put that link in the comments. A 15-minute call, and I'm happy to help you at least identify what is that next step for you. And I look forward to it. Take care, guys.